Welcome to Outdoors with John. Today we are in the Searsburg Reservoir in the Green Mountain National Forest doing a little bike packing. It was a beautiful and warm day in the middle of May 2021. I had a new bike, the Redwood Poseidon, and I was excited to get out and give it a try. My destination was the Green Mountain National Forest in southeastern Vermont. I did some recon on the area after last year's Stratton Mountain backpacking trip, and I've been planning my return ever since. I parked just off Route 9 on Lind Lane. From here we would follow the Catamount Trail north. The Catamount Trail is a 300-plus mile ski trail that traverses Vermont from the borders of Massachusetts to Quebec in Canada. The trail follows the east bank of the Deerfield River on a former logging railroad. The views here are spectacular and the trail is flat and easy to ride. As you'll see later in the video, things do get a little bit more challenging. This area of the Catamount Trail crosses a small tributary of Deerfield River. Trail here, we can see there's a wet spot, but what's interesting is that you can see some of the ties are still in place. They're covered with moss, but those are railroad ties from a logging railroad that lasted into the 1920s, so about 100 years ago. As we continue on the trail, maybe about a mile in, we see some old rails here, two of them. Little 1.1 miles into the ride, we're coming to a spot on the Catamount Trail where the river has washed away the railroad bed, and we're going to be hike a bike here, see how long it goes, but it does look like a pretty location. About a mile and a half into the trail, and here the river takes a sharp bend after the Searsburg Reservoir, which is straight ahead. That is the dam. Shortly after this section, the Catamount Trail started up a short, steep climb to reach the top of the dam. This was definitely a hike-a-bike section. No danger of ice today, but we are at the top of Searsburg Dam. We're on the east side, and I would say there was about 1/10 of a mile of steep climbing. The Searsburg Reservoir is a small, steep-sided, shallow riverine impound, draining a watershed of about 90 square miles. It has a surface area of about 28.5 acres and is about 1 mile long. Trail conditions started to deteriorate north of the dam.
This section of trail here has a nice retaining wall. It was built to keep the hillside from washing out the railroad that was running right next to the river, as we can see here. All right, we're about 2.3 miles in, and we've reached the junction of the west branch and the east branch of the Deerfield River. So the right-of-way stays on the east side of the east branch at this point, but there actually was a junction here, and it also followed the west branch.
For clarification, the river on the west is not named the West Branch, it's just the Deerfield River.
Okay, so we're at the junction of the East Branch Trail here, and it's been a rough 2.5 miles from Lynn Lane. We're going to continue north. It's 4.5 miles to the reservoir. I hope the trail gets a little bit easier, otherwise I may be coming back here to East Branch and heading out on the dirt road. We'll see.
I was able to continue for about 1.5 miles further, but I did retrace my steps to here. This small pond is formed by the confluence of several mountain streams, and of course this beaver dam.
Two things to note. One is that keeping my feet dry, not a problem anymore. I'm just gonna go for it. Second is the flies are out. They're not really biting, but boy are they annoying. we've come to a spot where there used to be a railroad bridge. It looks like they built some logs over to cross over here, but the logs have since disintegrated and the bridge is closed, so you do have to walk down and get your feet wet. All right, this is the next bridge that's out. And I walked a little beyond here. The trail gets a little bit hike-a-bike, or actually a lot hike-a-bike. So I'm gonna turn around and work my way back to the East Branch. We just crossed the Deerfield River, the East Branch here, and you can see the East Branch of the Deerfield River Railroad over there where that second bridge is.
This path is not on the old railroad right away, but does connect us to it just before the Deerfield River Bridge.
4/10 of a mile from the East Branch of the Deerfield River, and behind us we can hear the West Branch of the Deerfield River. Pretty sure that right here, this flat spot just on the north side of this footbridge is where the railroad grade is. So it's definitely overgrown and not a trail there. And over here is flat behind this pine tree. We're walking out here now on the West Branch of the Deerfield River. And down here we're looking south, the direction we just came up. And just around the bend is probably the junction with the East Branch of the Deerfield River. We are on Somerset Road, about 5 miles from the campground that I'm planning on staying at. And that ought to be enough to get me to camp, get set up, maybe do a few things, relax. If I feel enthusiastic, I could go out for a ride once I set up my tent. We're coming to Rake Brook, looks like, and over here someplace, a branch, the Rake Brook branch of the logging railroad went off to our left here. Looks like there's a trail and a pull-off over here. But the logging railroad is on our left now. That flat stretch right there is the old railroad bed. We have reached the junction with the Somerset Airfield, which is where the campground is. I'm gonna take a left here, head to the campground. Airfield Campground, where they have a pit toilet. There's no services. Camping is free. Donations are requested. There are a number of opportunities to set up camp over here, so I'm gonna go see if I can find a spot. It's almost 8 o'clock. I got to camp here pretty early. I did 12 miles of bike packing, set up camp, had a little lunch, and then headed out for another 12 miles of just gravel riding. I listed mostly on the forest roads. I did a lot of what I'd call rougher trails to get up here, following the old Deerfield River Railroad bed. A lot of people camping here. It's very popular, it's free, there's pull-offs everywhere. This is a national forest, so you don't need an official campsite to boondock in the national forest. So great day so far. 24 miles on my new Poseidon Redwood. First time I've had it out. I did a little bit of a ride up and down the street with a load to make sure it all worked out, but I got pretty lucky. I had no problems with it at all today. It shifted great. It handled rough terrain pretty well. I can't complain. Got it in some mud, and it held up. And I was packed. I had almost 60 pounds total, 31 pounds in the bike and 29 pounds worth of stuff, not to mention my own weight. So really good trip. So far so good. I'm gonna cook boil some water here, have some Backpackers Pantry fettuccine alfredo with chicken. I am famished, haven't eaten much at all today. After that, I'll probably be looking to go to bed. This would be a great bike packing adventure for the beginner with all the nice forest roads that they have out here, and it's not too steep. But I don't recommend the Catamount Trail, which is where I started. That gets a little bit rough, and it does require a few hike-a-bikes. Good morning. Got down to about 40 degrees this morning. A little bit chilly, but not too cold. I didn't find myself cold at all last night. Woke up once to use the bathroom. Looks like it's going to be a beautiful day. Can't wait for it to warm up. Yeah, did a little tidying up inside the tent, but right now it's time to make some coffee. Looks like that 3 liters of water I grabbed last night is going to get me through dinner and breakfast this morning, and probably leave me with a better part of 2 water bottles for the ride back. Alright, the trail splits here. To our right, it takes us to Riker Pond. Continues uphill. To our left, take us to Woodford. It looks a little bit less developed on the way to Woodford. It's probably just a ski mobile trail. This is going to be doing it for me for today on this particular trail. I'm going to head back towards the car. I have a schedule to keep. But we'll definitely come out here and finish this trail some other time. Used to be a high trestle that crossed here just south of Tudor Pond. There was a Tudor Mill was on the other side of the river, and over here was an area where they would load logs. The right of way continues off into the woods over here. Yesterday we were biking on that flat stretch over there, which is the old Deerfield River Railroad. Today we're going down the Somerset Road, which is a much faster pace.
This penstock carries water used to operate a small hydroelectric station on the Wilmington Searsburg town line.
Just a quick wrap up. We did about 11.5 miles back to the car today. Beautiful day, great road. Somerset Road is a little busy with cars and can be dusty, but the views of the Deerfield River are absolutely beautiful, and the Somerset Reservoir. Thanks for joining me today. If you enjoyed this content, please like, subscribe, share, comment. It's all good.